is Shobhit Agarwal from Anarok, where we've started a new podcast series to talk about real estate trends in Indian real estate. Today, I'm going to talk to you about special situation funds and how they are impacting our markets and what are the new trends within that bucket. To understand special situation funds, first we have to understand the correlation between project life cycle and capital stack. Usually, the project starts when the developer buys land. Typically in Indian real estate, land is equity funded. Right? This equity could be the internal accruals of the company. It could be promoter equity, or he can joint venture with private equity to go ahead and purchase the land for the project and conceptualize the project. In stage 2, once the project is bought and he starts to conceptualize it, design it, then the money is required for approvals and for construction. At this stage of the project, the developer usually relies on two things. One, debt. Two, customer advances from sales of the project. If we look back to 2005, when foreign equity was allowed, those were the best days for residential real estate in India, wherein when the project was launched, on the day of the launch, the developer would sell perhaps 100% or even more, which means that there was overbooking in the projects. And hence, he did not require debt because customers would pay up the money as per construction linked plan. In essence, there was no need for any debt. As the market progressed, and transparency came in. Today, the customer wants to buy ready to move in apartments, which means that the developer perhaps has to build out the full project and then sell the project. Many companies have embarked on this journey saying we will build first and sell later, which means that the dependence on debt is growing. Let me just talk about debt in a little bit of more details so you understand. Originally, or a decade back, debt was financed by public sector bank. Then private sector banks came up, HFCs came up, and they would finance the project. All of these were well governed and also were regulated by Reserve Bank of India. And life was going on quite well. Until the sales started to slow down from 2012, 2013, and it became obvious that you now required debt which was not straight line but perhaps required to match up with the cash flow of the projects. On this basis, a new capital providing company came up called non-banking financial companies, or NBFCs. These were specialized real estate lenders. They understood the project life cycle, they diagnosed the project, they understood the cash flow mismatch, and they usually loaned the money to match with the cash flow of the project, and hence they could do many things when lending. That means my debt could be what we call ballooning debt, means low interest at the beginning, high interest at the end, low EMIs in the beginning, high EMIs at the end, bullet repayments, etc., which made the project more viable from a construction or cash flow perspective. So how these NBFCs went about funding, right? While they were specialists in understanding and underwriting real estate, they also needed money. And their source of capital was the same public sector banks, private sector banks, insurance companies, and mutual funds. They were getting money from these companies and onward lending it at an arbitrage. Right? Then came the what we would call as our own financial crisis led by IL&FS in September of 2018, which was then followed by DHFL raising the alarm. During this period, the insurance companies, the mutual funds started to feel scared of the Indian real estate and therefore stopped lending to NBFCs. Once their capital flow stopped, they couldn't lend onwards and meet their commitments. They started to get selective on projects and they funded those that were more viable and closer to the finishing line than those that were at the start point. Once the cash flow stopped, the projects got delayed, or in fact some of them even halted. As a result of this, the home buyers who were paying up also stopped paying because they didn't see sufficient progress and they got the sense that the project is going to be delayed, and of course the fresh sales were out of question. Ultimately, because the cash flow stopped at both sales side as well as debt side, these projects completely came to a grinding halt and got classified as non-performing assets under the Indian financial regulatory framework. Now, once the project is classified as non-performing asset, our Reserve Bank does not allow the banking system to do any fresh loans to them. Right? Neither can NBFCs lend to them. So what is the way out? Way out ultimately is structured credit, which we are now calling as Special Situation Fund, which means there is nobody else who can lend to these companies except for these special situations. And Special Situation Fund have started a new investment style, and this is world over. They come in last in the capital stack and they go out first. This is called LIFO, right? Last in, first out. They are super senior to everybody. They provide enough capital to make sure that the project is complete, and once the project is complete, the first cash flow of the company is used to repay the senior lender, super senior lender, and only then the residual charge holder, which was the original lender, can take his money back and deal with the project stroke, the promoter who's the borrower. Right? What this does, why do people need special situation? Three things. A, like I mentioned, our Reserve Bank does not allow lending once you declared NPAs. So what special situation does is give sufficient money to the promoter, one, to finish the project, and two, to meet all his obligation to vendors, contractors, and of course in turn home buyers who've been waiting for these projects for over 4-5 years, and they are extremely delighted to move into their new houses. It also does two other things for developers. Once they get new money, they obviously are also forced to follow new corporate governance standards, thereby making them eligible at some point to new capital from our banking system. It also entails big and deep diligence to qualify for a special situation, which means that now you are accustomed to proper paperwork, and hence going forward you would follow it. It becomes a habit to do correct paperwork, and it leads to many benefits, one of which is that you do become bankable if you deliver the project. In India, the biggest special situation fund is promoted by our government called Swami Fund. It is managed by SBI and our government and many of the banks have put in collectively 25,000 crores in this fund. This fund also has a special status under IBC, where actually seniority, it is the only fund that has seniority in NCLT process, right? Basis which a lot of other foreign capital is also getting comfortable, and perhaps an equal amount of money is now available in structured credit funds of various real estate groups to deal with special situation where NPAs have happened and project is yet to be complete. I hope this has been good for you. Any questions, please reach out to us.